One of the trendiest books of magic in occultism today is also one of the most ancient, a scholarly collection of papyri from Roman and Hellenized Egypt, containing some of the most chaotic, yet surprisingly accessible spells from actual working magicians of the late antique period. Today on Discourse, Dr. Stone and I explore the Greek Magical Papyri, or PGM, and discuss its value not just as a spell book, but as a lens for the modern practitioner to understand the roots and history of Western magic. We're going to explore the DNA of these texts, break down the famous rituals, and demystify some of their most confusing features in a way that only magicians can. Three, two, one. Okay, welcome back to Discourse with myself, Abamon the Great, joined, as always, by Dr. Anna Stone.
Hi.
Hi, so...
Long time, no recording.
Yeah, long time no recording. We got thrust into a world of chaos.
We did. So we apologize we haven't been recording or uploading videos, but,
Sometimes life happens.
Right. Sometimes things happen and there's nothing you can do other than deal with them head on. So, and they take up all of your time. And this is, I think, the path of like people in this magical life, right? There's always people or situations that are like set out to thwart you, I feel like, and knock you off your game.
Yeah.
But they never win.
That's probably why we score high on a paranoid delusion when we take this psychological
It's
test,
not
right?
a paranoid delusion. It's called facts. It's called life for us. It is, right?
I know. I'm just saying, referencing back to the psychology of the magician episode.
I'm aware.
I know. Episodes.
I knew exactly what you meant.
Yeah.
Yes, because we both, for those that haven't seen that episode, we took a whole bunch of psychological assessments to see where we fall. Mm-hmm. Because there's a certain mindset of the practitioner, right? You have to have a certain flexibility, and that with your belief system or your ability to believe things that other people would not readily believe. Mm-hmm. And both of us score high as paranoid, that the world's out to get us sometimes, or that people specifically, there are sometimes people that are out to get me. Because it's facts, because that happens, right?
I know. I've been slowly collecting data in my private practice on the intake forms.
Oh yeah.
And then I had a bunch of other occultists fill it out, and there's a
you're finding a correlation there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a correlation, I think.
I believe that it's true, because I feel like we're doing work, we're setting out to do work that at the end of the day is going to be a benefit to the collective, right? I mean, overall, and at least to ourselves. And I think that the powers that be on this prison planet are not liking that. And so they send idiots out there. Idiot.
Yeah.
Punk bitches out there.
Yeah.
To take selfies, send you love songs, and
a punk, a lame,
Yeah, and to pretend that they're, I don't know what, Anubis? I'm not sure. Some kind of shit. Anyhow, it's laughable. And you got to remind yourself that a lot of times it takes the form of people that have no, they're empty vessels. I know you don't agree with that, but you might start to agree with it now. But yeah. So we've had.
Yeah, you call them NPCs.
I do.
Or Hylics or whatever. Yeah, a lot of
waste of space, oxygen thieves. No, for real. And so we've had to, unfortunately, expend some energy and time on stupid things that were out of our control. But we're back.
Yeah.
And we're stronger than ever, and we're better than ever.
Yeah. So this week we're doing the Greek Magical Papyri, or the PGM.
Yeah.
Which is an episode that's been a long time coming because it's incredibly popular right now.
right now, isn't it always popular?
Yeah, but especially right now. Yeah, so the Hellenism and Hellenistic magic is kind of like the trendy
I don't know
magic
anyone
for
that
the
does
past
that.
few years.
I know you do. You know a lot
Yes.
of people that do that. I do not.
I think like when you go on the internet, that's what
Yeah.
a lot of people are interested in. Like are shifts in trends in the occult. Like I think 10 years ago there was a lot more interest in like Lilith and draconian magic and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. Chaos magic comes to the forefront and then
Oh
fades out
yeah.
and then comes to the forefront again.
Right.
I think Thelema and OTO has had its
Ugh.
popularity in certain periods of time, but I think right now what I see an increase in interest in is in Hellenistic magic and then astrological and planetary magic.
Yeah.
That is starting to, I feel like most of the conversations I have online now, like where I'm an anonymous user, people are leaning more into planetary magic as well. So
Right.
yeah.
So a couple things really quick. I don't know if you know about this, and I can't believe I haven't talked to you about this in off camera, but there was a conference for astrology recently,
Mm-hmm.
ancient astrology, the
Mm-hmm.
kind you practice at the worldwide level, like a
Mm-hmm.
symposium that just happened. Did you know about that?
No.
Yeah. So because quantum science
Mm-hmm.
is starting to see the correlation between that practice, like the old practice of astrology, not like horoscopes, not
Yeah.
like that, like actual astrology, and starting to become legitimate science. Like, well, it's on its way, which is quite interesting. I'm following one of the PhDs that presented, and he is, yeah, I'll forward you his link. It was
Yeah,
quite
cool.
interesting. Yeah, and then also we lost Peter Carroll, right?
Yeah, we lost Peter Carroll a few weeks ago, which is
Mhm.
crazy because the impact that man has had on magic as a whole, I think is historical. The magic that how he understood magic, and he was at the ground level of really infusing like quantum science with as an understanding for magic. He
Yeah.
was one of the first people to do that. I know that quantum mysticism was happening kind of in the 70s kind of new age movement. It started
Kind
getting
of.
roots there, but Peter Carroll was one of the first magicians that was infusing that understanding, and he really changed magic forever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a chaos magician or not, how the modern person understands magic is so much comes from his understanding.
Yes, I do. I like because I wasn't even aware that that's what I was doing for
Yeah.
half my life. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, and he explained it quite well. And I actually have read one of his books, not knowing that that's who he was. So
Yeah.
back when I was in my program for consciousness studies, so the psychonaut,
Yeah.
So I didn't know. I had no idea because I wasn't following those things back then. But yeah, so that's unfortunate. But I just thought we should mention that real quick because it's kind of a deal, right?
Yeah,
Especially in
no,
our
it is
day
a
and
big
age.
deal. It's like a real deal wizard that changed magic forever past.
Yeah.
We're lucky to be able to witness his legacy while he was alive.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that, that being said, I guess let's get into the PGM, which is
Yeah.
kind of weird because it's not actually, the letters aren't in the order of which the title of the book is, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah, I think PGM stands for Papyri
Greek
Greco Magica
yeah,
or something.
Yeah.
Or the Greek Magical Papyri.
Yeah.
That actually comes from Egypt.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's really popular right now because Hellenistic magic is really popular, but we got our English translation for it not until the 1980s. And as far as the historical record goes, the occult historical record goes, the papyri and these spells, they didn't really they first started getting collected in the beginning of the 19th century during Egyptomania amongst like military men and
because of Romans, right? Empire.
because
Why?
of what?
Why? Because of like the rise and fall of empires. Is that why?
Yeah, well,
Is it?
so you know how like so diplomats and military men were antiquarians back then. You know, if you can think about like the, you know, kind of Indiana Jones stereotype of like the general that goes to Morocco and collects the rare treasures he finds or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was what was happening, and a lot of these papyri got started coming into Europe, made their way into Europe during that time, and then everything didn't really get assembled by scholars until the 1920s, and that was in Germany, and it was basically the Greek Magical Papyri is a collection of all these papyri that were collected
between like the 2nd and 5th, right? Like the 2nd BCE and 5th.
Yeah,
CE,
so the
Common Era?
2nd century BCE all the way up until 3rd or 4th AD or
right,
CE.
5th century. Yeah, so 400s, right?
Yeah.
And so I just saw a video earlier today about someone asked, is there such a thing as appropriation in witchcraft? Okay.
Yeah.
And you did a video about this,
I think
right?
our most controversial TikTok video
Is it?
my take
Is
on
it? Oh,
yes.
I bet it is.
I lit the comment section on fire.
Well, someone copied you recently. Then
a lot of people agreed with me, and then a lot of people
they can suck it because here's the thing is,
and it's mostly
me
the
guess.
people that didn't agree with me. You could
say it. Then what? Tell me. Come on.
You know, they weren't the same race as me, so.
Oh yeah. So they're okay. What do you mean? Like, so what? So are they saying that their culture that's appropriated?
Yeah, it was like mostly people that were I don't know, some kind of.
What are they practicing? Magic?
I don't know.
So, but the thing is that like that's such an arrogant thing to say. I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
Because at this time, all of these were collected from different cultures, right? Like they're you know, it's coming. We're combining here the Greco-Roman Egypt, the Coptic.
Right,
there's Jewish. There's you know what I mean. There's all everybody that lived around them, like all the different cultures, and it's a collaborative effort. It's collaboration.
Well, it's working spell collection of working spells from working magicians. And the crazy thing about this, I love this. So this is the Hans Dieter Betz translation, which is basically what the English speaking world uses. But if you open it up, it is such a.
It's a manual.
It's monolithic. It is like its own system of magic. You see the same techniques across the centuries in this, the same style of magic, but as you were saying, it is from Egypt, Roman occupied Egypt, under Greek intellectual culture. So there's three things happening there, and then the spells themselves are across the entire gambit. You've got Christianity, you've got Judaism, you've got Greek, you've got Egyptian, you've got Roman, and like they're fusing together, you know, they'll syncretize gods that nobody had ever, like within one spell, it'll be like, Chthonic Hecate Zeus or Abraxas Hermes or something, and it's like they just do not care.
Right, I literally wrote that. I have that here. It says, like my notes are talking about how it's not one religion; it's a ritual marketplace. There's Hermes, Thoth, Helios, Isis, Osiris, Tau, Adonai, and other names appear in the same operation.
Yes. In the exact same operation, you're just calling on every single one, which is amazing. But it's also like what's so interesting about it is because the spells in this span centuries, and they all like kind of have the same mechanics to them. So you get to see like it is magic is kind of institutional,
Right.
even though it is
Right.
a hodgepodge. Like
Well,
all
say
these
it-
magicians are practicing this
Right.
way.
So, like, my notes also say, that's not a corruption of any pure tradition. It is the tradition. Like,
Yeah.
it is the tradition to, assemble all the different working aspects of other cultural magic and create what was working for them back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what they were working with.
Mhm.
This is not like a philosophy or some doctrines or any of that.
Yeah.
It's a manual, like a workbook, basically. Like
Yeah.
in today's terms, I guess it would be like your lab notes.
Yes.
It would be
exactly.
it would be your lab book to your biology book, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's exactly what it is. It'd be like, here's the manual, here's the steps, here's the experiment, you're going to do it and, get your results.
Yeah. It's absolutely like, this is absolutely massive. And these are all spells.
Right.
Like and there's so much inspiration you can find in here.
Right.
But there are some very core features of what, like, you can recognize a PGM spell.
Yes.
Like every spell basically is the same, but you also see the roots of many different magical practices in here.
Yeah. So because within this, there's like, I found when I was doing my research, I found that there's like specific, there's operative grammar, right? That's that includes the following. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong. There's inscription. There's write the request, divine names or formula onto paper, papyri, linen, metal, leaves, or another surface. So you're writing something down, and then vocalization, repetition. 7 times appears often. Like a lot of times, it's 7 times repeating. Long strings of names. Sound is part of the mechanism of magic here, where it's not just a container for the meaning. It's like actually like cutting into the air. It's that's what it's. I guess that's what I took from it.
That's one of the most interesting things about this. So one of the things that you see in PGM magic that you don't really see anywhere else in later magic is there's 7 different vocalizations that pop up within the PGM. I think the most popular ones you're going to see is pop and hiss. So in the middle of a spell, you're making like or a like that, which is
interesting.
It's very witchy. Like
the hissing. Fuck,
exactly.
What? I do that all the time.
It's incredibly it's so interesting because my favorite part about PGM magic is the vocalizations, and I think that there's a lot of profound mysteries in there, and a lot of people scholars themselves have thrown their hands in the air and trying to figure out what it means,
Right. I think that they will not probably get it if they're just scholars and they're not practitioners, right? Then the materia is like, so that's the issue, right? That the issue with this manual or lab book is that a lot of the ingredients are deadly or you can't find them anymore. So
I think going through we
at
can
first
actually talk about this.
At first
glance, I would say I've actually been really into researching the pharmacology and toxicology of ancient grimoires for the past few weeks. Yeah.
Where the hell's that? Oh,
what
we know, you know what I mean? Like they say the things that are supposed to go in it, and it's like, what? A monkey brain? I have knew. What? Phoenix feather, whatever. But those are all.
It's
codes.
It's called synthemata.
Yeah.
Right. Those are the codes, and I actually bookmarked that part in here. But like there's the ingredients that are clear as day in here aren't that, I wouldn't say as frequently poisonous and psychedelic as in, say, the Picatrix. I think the Picatrix ingredients are incredibly dangerous, and you really have to do research when you're using the ingredients in the Picatrix. In this one, I think, one of the things that jumped out at me was a flower called hellebore.
Yeah.
And that is highly toxic, but it is also linked with witchcraft. It's a popular witchcraft ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that might be a dosage issue right
flying
there.
Ointment.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you see hellebore pop up in here, and that was the one that I immediately identified as poisonous.
Yeah.
But if you're using any ingredients from an ancient grimoire,
yeah,
not a modern grimoire, any grimoire that's not literally done in the 20th or 21st
with like
century,
rules about it,
you need to research it
and keep it away from kids.
Yes, because the herbalism that happens in these grimoires is specifically a mix of psychoactives and toxins.
Yes.
And it's for a reason.
That's why I like Datura.
But if we go into the Synthemata, though, and this is one of the interesting things, because there's so much secret codes within this book, and any spell book, the older spell books, but we only get a very brief list in here of the Synthemata. Like, for example, let's see. It says, so you're going to hear like the classic, which you like, Eye of Newt, like that kind of thing. Yeah. It says, a man's bile is turnip sap, a pig's tail is leopard's bane, a physician's bone is sandstone, the blood of Hestia is chamomile. Yeah,
see, that's what I'm talking about. So at first glance, you look at that and you're like, I can't get this. Yeah. There's nowhere I can buy this stuff. But it's all code. It's not, so if you know what to look for, if you know what it means, you know what it means. But it requires, I don't know, research.
So, that's it. And this specifically, the list of Synthemata is PGM 12-401 through 44. And it actually says why they do it in here.
Oh, why?
It says, interpretations which the temple scribes employed from the holy writings in translation. Because of the curiosity of the masses, the scribes inscribed the names of the herbs and other things which they employed on the statue of the gods, so that the masses, since they do not take precautions, might not practice magic by the consequence of their misunderstanding. But we have collected the explanations of these names from many copies of the sacred writing, and all of them are secret. And so a lot of these code names are tied to mythologies. Like Kronos' spice is piglet's milk. Kronos' blood is cedar. Semen of Helios is white hellebore. Mm-hmm. So they're all, the ingredients are usually tied and coded based off of like mythologies that only the priests and the people that could read would be familiar with.
Right, well there's that. Yeah. The reading thing is big. Yeah, I completely forgot that part.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I'm glad you got that and you found that information in there.
Yeah.
I knew it had to be something that actually wasn't really impossible to find, right?
Yeah.
But then we have like so that's the materials. So that would be like incense, the rush mats, the branches, cups, lamps, etc. Like all the props, basically.
Yes.
Then the timing and bodily state.
Yeah.
And then compression. I guess. So compression is a large number of the rites in here are almost like very short, condensed, and like almost like talismanic more than like actual spells. It's like just kind of enchanting something.
It's kind of a mix between the two. There's a lot of talisman spells. There's a lot of herbalism slash medicinal magic that's happening in here. I think most of the demotic spells are leaning more into like, this is a cure for a scorpion sting, this is a cure for a dog bite, and it's an incantation like you say with a combination of herbs, that kind of thing. But then there are a bunch of crazy ridiculous long rituals in there where it takes 42 days of purification before you can do something. And the purification rituals in here, so this is coming from Egypt, right? And so there's a lot of vegetarian practice in purification, and then abstinence from sex. Abstinence from sex is probably the most frequent purification that you're going to see in there, and this really is a product of Egyptian practice. So
is it abstinence from sex with a woman only?
No, it just says sex. The
pretty sure that there was an exception for
what?
Yeah. Well, because in my research I found out that it was talking about women only, so you could still hook up with the boys.
Oh yes, there's a lot of boys in this too. So that's another feature of the Greek Magical Papyri. The child medium, and specifically a boy, is which is weird, littered in so many of the spells. Yeah, I'm actually really curious about that. I wasn't able to like figure out exactly why that was. if they thought like girls were unclean or something, or I'm not
because unclean, because girls turn into women, and you're supposed to have babies with women and have wives with women, right? Boys are still, when they're, unfortunately, oh God, I can't even say this, when they're young like that, gross. Not at all saying this is good in any way, shape, or form, but this is that time, I guess. But yeah, so they were, kind of, it's like the femboys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially
and they
within
kept them that way on purpose.
Romanization.
Yes.
Yeah. During the Roman Empire, that was a big thing.
Yes.
But there's a lot of
Don't do that.
a lot of child mediumship in this. There's spells where it's like if you're gonna divine, you need a young pure boy in order to divine. If you're
now, is that coded also?
Huh? Is
that coded also?
I'm not sure.
Because if they say kid, so. It could be a goat, right?
I really don't think so. No, it doesn't say kid though.
I'm just saying it could say.
And if you're thinking about the cultural context,
yeah,
right?
I know those people are about that.
So the Greeks specifically were into pederasty, and they also is very common. It's like, oh, like you've got a son, go to the wise old man and ask him to educate your son.
Or you're gonna go be a warrior and get killed.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So that was very popular, and then obviously Rome was really into the femboy stuff, that kind of thing. So I mean, there's a lot of culturally.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just say that the whole abstinence thing is bullshit. Yeah. Because if it was really about abstinence, it would be any gender. It wouldn't just be female.
Well, so these were Egyptians, though. They were just under Roman occupation and Greek intellectual culture. So it's like those cultures had an influence, but
they
if
made
you're talking
exceptions
about
for themselves.
Actual like ethnic Egyptians, the celibacy and abstinence from sex, that practice for purification does come from Egypt. That was very important.
But I'm saying like they definitely made an exception for themselves, the Romans and the Greek. Yeah, like they made an exception because in the other versions, not the English one, but I got the name of it. Hang on. The one that I read was saying that there was an exception, so that's why it is.
Yeah.
It's the Coptic. I don't know how to say that. PMCM.
Okay.
Version.
Yeah.
The related Coptic magical texts that are studied alongside. Have you read those?
And I didn't see specifically what you're talking about.
But
there's a lot of spells that
It's a separate document that didn't make it into.
Right.
It's like the whatever you call it. It's like that. But and then there's the German 1926 version.
Yeah.
That also has mention of it, but it's more specific in the related texts about it. So I say bullshit on that one. I'm just gonna say it because if it was really a thing, it would be either way. Because they're just trying
I'm just saying, like education practices. Then, so if you're thinking about somebody who's practicing magic in Egypt during this time, right?
Well, sure.
It would either be disenfranchised priests, which is what happened when Rome took over Egypt.
Sure.
They shut down all the temples and so in ancient Egypt, in any given town, up to 50% of the population could be a priest.
Yeah,
a lot of these
crazy.
A lot of these people were part-time priests, right? But you had a priest for basically every temple function. So somebody who was a priest could also be a farmer. And for 2 hours a day, they go and make the sacred incense for the temple, and that's their priestly duty, right?
Yeah.
So and then you have to understand that like the function of these temples was the civic function of Egypt,
right?
So when Rome came and shut down the temples, all of a sudden you see a large part of the population that is now pushed out of their profession, right? Something that they do all day, every day, and this led to the rise of Hermeticism and magic because this was an independent expression of Egyptian religion that was Hellenized, And so these priests found themselves in a new vocation as basically gurus for the ancient world, right?
Yeah.
So it would be the same as going on like an ayahuasca retreat or going on a yoga retreat. That's how the ancient world kind of treated the disenfranchised Egyptian priests.
Mhm.
And these disenfranchised Egyptian priests, as magic was an incredibly important part of the religion, they would be able to practice magic. So if you think about the type of people that would be making it to these Egyptian priests, it would be people similar to college kids that were coming from all over the ancient world in order to study either in the cultural melting pot of Alexandria and learn the arts and sciences there, or they would be learning religion, philosophy from the wise old Egyptian priests that were basically disenfranchised and broke, and they had to develop this kind of independent practice. On top of that, the Greek practice of sending your son over to the philosopher or the teacher or whatever, and having him, basically be the assistant so that he could get an education. That was a really popular practice too. So these Egyptian priests are basically dealing with, they would have access to, boys.
Okay.
Basically.
We're wrong. We're fucking wrong. We're wrong. I looked it up right now.
What?
We're wrong about this. Correction. They were not in any way, shape, or form sexual objects to anybody in this time. They were literally only for purity. They were only for being able to see. So and the reason that they didn't count in the abstinence thing is because they could do whatever they wanted. They could. The boy had to be abstinent. The boy, they're talking about. They're not talking about the person doing the magic. They're talking about the seer.
Well, yeah. So there's specifically a spell in here that says that the person needs to make sure that they are pure as well as the medium.
Okay, the medium, right? So the boys, the reason, and I found out why. So the reason that the girls weren't that it was boys and not girls is because girls were not a part of the temple culture.
Yeah,
the religion was all based around men.
Yeah.
So they weren't allowed in those spaces. Second, any child below the age of like 12-ish, give or take, were considered to be liminal. They were close to death. They were just alive, became alive. So they could see. They were the ones seeing, divining, etc.
Yeah.
Then they were not used in any way sexually, whatever, but in these rites, allegedly. That's what it says.
So that's one of the really interesting things about the spells in here. The child medium spells. It's a lot of the spells in here that require a meeting with a god or a spirit or an angel. Requires a boy in order to see it. Yeah.
Yep. And that's what they are functioning as. So they were actually it was a ideal role for a kid, I guess. And there's in the Betts translation, apparently this boy serves as a child medium. Right? That's this quote in there. And there was there was one spell to the sun, right? Where you need a boy to divine the message for you as well. So they have to look through a lamp flame and a lamp.
There's a lot of lamp spells in here too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there are. And then, so the boy is not there because the spell needs a child. It's because in ancient practice, they believe prepubescent or sexually inexperienced children could perceive spirits more cleanly than an adult. They wouldn't be subject to trickery like a person that has already become of the material world, so to speak, right? So that's interesting. And there's in Mediterranean Egyptian systems back there, and prepubescent children were considered liminal, all of them, even girls. But then also the boys were available because they were allowed to be in those spaces with men, and girls were not. And then the bilingual solar divination rite in the PGM 4 is specifically described by modern scholars as a solar divination through boy medium. You know which one I'm talking about? That one? It's the fourth one. And it has parallels in the demotic Egyptian divination, which also used boys medium. So it's a recreation of that. And then, again, they were seen as the role was visual. So they were to see. And if you have been tainted by the worldly ways, you can't see anymore, is their belief, is what it says. So children aren't tainted yet.
Yeah.
They're not stuck here in the material because they haven't participated in those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess that makes sense. I guess so. I still think it's weird. But yeah, so there's like weird stuff. Like there's some very practical, I guess, spells in here. I guess, right? Like you said.
It's mostly practical magic.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay. But the most popular one is going to be the assistant one, right? Like, isn't that one that like a lot of people have done or tried to do about gaining an assistant? Because that's the one that people say don't try to do.
Yeah, so there's a lot of spells in this book for getting a tutelary spirit. A tutelary spirit is basically just an assistant spirit. So there's spells in here for the Gothodaimon. It's at the very beginning in PGM 1. The first few spells deal with getting into contact with the Gothodaimon. And the Gothodaimon can be compared to the HGA, the Holy Guardian Angel. Now, one of my favorite spells in the entire book is the Falcon spell, and that is getting in touch with the Gothodaimon. Just because I think the Falcon spell is absolutely ridiculous and extra, but a lot of these spells are ridiculous and extra.
It's way extra. The amount of you're a tweaker on your roof for you're like mowing the roof or something, basically equivalent today.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Falcon spell. You basically have to behead a falcon, and then up on your roof, you have to wave its head at the sun.
You have to behead it?
Yes. And you're waving.
That was a dove too.
The falcon's head at the sun as the sun is rising.
You're yelling at it, right?
And you're yelling incantations, and then another falcon comes down and drops a stone that you have to go down and collect. And when you get the stone, you have to go into the house where you have a boy medium.
Yeah.
And the boy medium is going to greet your angel as it comes to the door, and then you're going to pour the angel a drink or sit down, and you'll be able to have a conversation, and then you have access to your Gothodaimon.
But you also have to stay on the roof for days, right?
Yeah.
With no sleep?
Yeah, it's
it's sleep deprivation.
It's over 24 hours too, right, which is
it's
just
it might be sleep deprivation.
Insane spell. I love it.
I love
it's
it.
So extra. I have a cabin, and I've always wanted to do it.
Let's do it. Because
I've always wanted to do
there
it.
was that lady. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lady that I can't believe this is a true story. It reminds me of this. She's in Texas, and she's out in her yard, and she comes running and screaming, and her arm is ripped the fuck up, ripped up. Her husband's like, "What happened?" She goes, "A falcon dropped a snake on me. The snake wrapped around my arm, and then another falcon came and it came back. It circled back around to take it back off of her, and in the process, tore her arm up with its talons." It was on video. It actually happened.
Yeah.
It, out of the middle of nowhere, dropped a snake on her. A rattlesnake that wrapped around her and bit her. Then it came back and grabbed it off of her again.
Yeah.
and in the meantime, it completely destroyed her arm. But my point of that is that stranger things have happened. Apparently, stranger things with the falcons have happened.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty nuts. I don't ever know where do I see falcons at. I don't know. At the zoo, where the guy comes to the classrooms and shows the kids. But I don't know where they are. But it could happen.
Yeah.
Because that lady, she had the worst luck of her life that day. What? That's nuts.
But
the video of that's hilarious. You guys got to see it. Poor lady. I feel bad for her. But So
one of the most famous spells in this, though, is the Headless Rite.
Right.
And this was reinterpreted so the Headless Rite is getting into contact with what Crowley and Mathers believed was that it was God, or the ground of being.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And so Crowley ended up reformatting it as an easier HGA spell, Holy Guardian Angel spell.
Okay.
And that's in his Liber Samec. But basically, if you're trying to do the tutelary spirit thing, you can actually get the original one that Crowley adapted for Liber Samec in here, though. In the Greek Magical Papyri, it's not specifically for the Gothodaimon. So that's, you're going to see a lot of that within the PGM. So, but the Headless Rite was reinterpreted into the Bornless Rite because Crowley and Mathers basically realized that in Hebrew, head and beginning were the same word. And so they reinterpreted the headless one that's invoked in the PGM spell.
Yeah.
They reinterpreted it so that it was, the one with no beginning, or the bornless, right?
Okay.
It was not born because it has no beginning. So in their reinterpretation of it, you're basically invoking, doing some kind of theurgy, and because it gives you power over all the spirits, then you can call on your guardian, your holy guardian angel, and it will come to you too.
So, right. I mean, I thought that this was about commanding, like asserting your authority within the spiritual realm.
What was?
The Headless Rite.
Yes. It gives you command over, in the PGM one, it gives you command over the earth and the waters and all the spirits.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That it's basically for you to prove to yourself that you possess the magical prowess to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of great material in here. The thing is, like, there's a ton of inspiration, and the spells in this book, I mean, just going through them, I can see the DNA of them and how some of the most important magical practices that we have today, and really the great function of how magic works. It seems to be in its most primordial form here, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot harder to get into anything more ancient,
right?
That's makes sense to the modern mind, I guess.
I mean, these don't make so much sense to the modern mind. If I was a newbie, I would have no idea what I was looking at.
Yes,
to be honest, I think this is one of the first books I ever did see at the library. Yeah. When I was a kid. And I think I remember opening it up and seeing a long word that I would never be able to pronounce. And nothing made sense at all. I was like, this doesn't look fun. That's what I thought. I thought, this doesn't look fun. I'm going to go with the Llewellyn, very easy peasy, like, because I was 12, but yeah, like that, there was one page in that. And when I opened it up, I was like, I've seen this before. Oh my gosh.
Let's get into that a little bit, because that is my favorite feature of the PGM. So it's known in magical circles as the Vocus Magia, which would be magical words or magical vocalizations.
Abracadabra.
Yeah, so it would be, but scholars, they call the words specifically, and not just the popping and hissing sounds, they call those nomina barbara, or barbarous words, right?
Yeah.
And so the thing is, you open this up, and you're going to see, this is one of the things you're going to see in all the PGM spells. They have these long strings of letters, and you're going to see kind of bastardizations of god names fused into these strings of letters.
Yeah.
And cracking this mystery. So this is the remnants of Egypt, as like Egypt's belief in the voice and language as magic. And I absolutely love this, because I feel like this is kind of within European magic. It kind of fell out, right? Like we lost it. The magic words, right? It became incantations and prayers and stuff that you can understand, basically. It's not these long strings of letters that don't make any sense, right?
I mean, maybe they make sense.
Yeah. But one of the most interesting, you see this practice within Kabbalah, within magical Kabbalah, and within meditative and prophetic Kabbalah. You see this practice in it, but within Judaism, they're missing the vowel sounds. One of the things you notice within PGM spells is that they lean heavily into the vowel sounds, and there's 7 of the vowel sounds. And, we do magic. What is 7? 7 is obviously a very, very important number to the magician, to the hermeticist, especially to an Egyptian magician that's, around astrology, that kind of thing. But
these ones are crazy.
Yeah. So on the very first page, or the very first spell, you're going to see this triangle with the 7 vowel sounds. Is basically telling you how to use them, right?
Okay.
It's incredibly important. But then you're going to go into, in that first spell, you're going to see the vocalization of the vowel sounds, like that. And then after that,
Adonai.
After that, you get harpon, knufi, brintanten, sifri, briskilma, and you're looking at that and it's like, okay, are these spirits? Is harpon a god? You get into this long string, nipo mich mo maof.
Okay.
Like that.
I got aber, ament, oler, hexane, exetherel, uoth, nimar. That's one word. Like, it is so, I had to break it up into so I could actually try to say it.
Yes. And then so after you say this like long string, then you're supposed to be like doing or
maybe that's
that kind of stuff.
That's weird.
So it's this combination of like spirits and vocalizations, which we can be looking at as the vocalizations, almost as mantras or whatever vocalizations that Easter monks would be making, but it's incredibly unique to the PGM. And you see, okay, hold on, you see later in the book, where is it? Permutations right here. So this is something that I found incredibly interesting. So in PGM 10, spelled 36 through 50, you're going to see a table with the 7 vowel sounds, right?
Okay.
And you're going to notice that it's in an array, and this is for a talisman. On this same page, there's these weird names that I am going to make the assumption that they're spirits, just because I see a certain pattern in here. And then you're going to see the Hebrew angels as well. So Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, Soriel, that kind of stuff. But on the very left-hand side, you see this permutation table using the vowel sounds. So we see in PGM 10 something that is a Kabbalistic practice. And Kabbalah didn't become a thing till much, much, much later, right? Until the Middle Ages. We see them doing vowel sound permutations the exact same way that a Kabbalist would be doing it. And you see the link to the Judeo-Christian angels right there, right? So this right here, it looks to me, that array table of the vowel sounds, how they're constantly rotating, this looks like the exact practice that the Kabbalists are using. And we can root it. And the Kabbalists claim that Kabbalah goes all the way back to here. And everybody's like, no, it doesn't. They're like, well, you can't prove that. They're like, it was an oral tradition before then. Everybody's like, you can't prove that. Zohar came out and, Middle Ages, that kind of stuff. And right here, I see one of the essential Kabbalistic practices rooted in PGM 10. So, which lends a lot of credence to at least that practice within Jewish mysticism being as old as the Kabbalists say that it is, which is amazing. I absolutely love that. But so understanding that and understanding how Kabbalah functionally works, right? That the letters, the 22 letters, are arranged on this kind of circle, and you're connecting to the letters through the permutation. We can go back and we can look at these formulas, these magical formulas using the Nomina Barbara. It's like, yes, there are god names infused in them. Yes, there are spirit names infused in them. But if this is how an Egyptian magician is functioning using permutations of the vowel sounds, these strings of letters are most likely permutations.
Sure.
And they're permutations that are representing either a spatial matrix or vocalization or an astrological chart, something there. And that's how the Nomina Barbara is functioning. And I mean, this is me going on my, letter magic vocalization tangent, this is something that's like, yes, that's how it works. That's how the magic words work. And it's unlocking that gives it that function. So the reason I love the PGM so much is because I see that happening, and I see, it's kind of a practice that we've lost in modern occultism, how to generate these words and how to use these words, right?
Right.
To everybody, it's just like, oh, this is just, to most people, it's just, oh, I just got to say this long string of stuff that doesn't make any sense. I think the most unique thing, though, is going to be the Vocus Magica, the one where it's like, like that kind of stuff. That's a mystery to me. It's very interesting. How does that work?
I feel like I know, but so because this whole thing comes from the period of late antiquity, right? So during that time, like, just so, like, I know we mentioned a couple different like traditions or whatever, but this is, again, like you said, when the Roman Empire had absorbed Egypt. There's the mystery religion, the Mithraic like tradition, the Orphism, the Hermeticism is all thriving at this time. Then also Gnosticism and early Christianity were developing simultaneously at this time. And then there's the Jewish diaspora communities were well established in Alexandria at the time. So all of that, plus their own offshoots of whatever they're doing, like, are just all being kind of combined together to make it working magic text.
You can see certain spells in here that call on Christ.
I know, because I was just gonna say. So, like the magicians. So when it comes to like appropriation comments or talk, okay, like the people that put this stuff, the people that wrote the things that are in this book, they would have not had any. They wouldn't have seen a contradiction between invoking Hecate and invoking the God of Moses, or because to them power is power. Power is just power, and so they were very eclectic. Right? Yeah. Like, this is eclectic, this is them being eclectic. And it's also, like you said, theurgic. But yeah, like I feel like it's really cool, because that's how I think everybody's practice should just be like, take the things that work and make them work for you. Why? But like, this is an art. This is definitely more involved than what we're doing today with regards to like these words and all of the formulas that you're talking about too. Like, we don't do
it's very
much,
very practical, because you can see in here you see almost I think the syncretism, it is a hallmark of a breadth of knowledge but not a depth of knowledge, right? I feel like an actual priest an actual priest would be like, hey, this is blasphemous to put these 7 gods together, or
of course
like, or these don't work together, but these are magicians, right? But it showcases a breadth of knowledge, but you also see like it's these people can read, they can write, so they're obviously educated to a certain level. The medicine that's all over this book says that they're also herbalists. I mean, the working magicians here are pretty involved in every step of the process, right? They're they have to know a lot of different things in order to even come up with these spells. So,
you would absolutely need to know that. I mean, so within it, there's a lot of love spells. There's love or desire spells. They're pretty aggressive by today's standards. There's binding love, right?
I think I had a good I pulled up a good love spell.
Then there's cursing, the curse tablets. Then there's divination, which I did a divination spell from this book, and it has worked. There's protective spells, amulets against evil eye and demons. There's the business spells, economic spells, and then the direct deity contact.
Yes.
Right? So
there's a lot of theurgy, direct deity contact in this book, which is, I think, the most famous one to come out of this book is probably the most famous PGM ritual is going to be the Mithras Liturgy. And the reason it's the most famous is because it's a historical curiosity, because the cult of Mithras, we don't have any records of what they practice or what they did. The way that we figure out the cult of Mithras is through the Mithraeum, the discovery of the Mithraeums. And we basically just have to go off the motifs that are left over in these abandoned Mithraeums. They didn't have texts. They didn't leave anything for us to understand what exactly they believed or what exactly they practiced. We've had to really piece it together from these Mithraeums.
What about the 4? What about the PGM 4?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The Mithras Liturgy is literally the only Mithraic spell or incantation or ritual that we have on the historical record that would come from the time.
And
However,
it's planetary spheres. Too.
Yeah. So that's something that we do see in the Mithraeums, that their initiatory grades were through the planetary spheres, and they had a planetary cult with the priest of every region would be Saturnus. A lot of people rose up to heliotrope, so it was Helios, that kind of stuff. But it was a lot of planetary stuff was in the cult of Mithras. But one of the things about the Mithras liturgy, though, is that it's very much PGM. It's like we can't say that that's purely.
I know that.
Mithraean.
I know. So that's technically not valid, confirmed, but but it also, that one is you're passing through the planetary spheres.
Yes.
You're culminating in direct vision of the sun god, and it is like a guided astral journey with passwords.
Yes.
For each level to.
Exactly.
Proceed.
Just like the Sefer Raziel Hamalach, right?
Yeah.
We keep running into this wherever we look.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Yes, absolutely. And then what about the alien script stuff?
You mean the talismanic
how do you
alphabet?
say it? I don't know how to.
What?
I don't know how to pronounce this word, so it looks like chakra something, but it's not.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Characteres? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
It's Charakters.
Oh, caricatures?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, or the talismanic alphabets.
That's what it is? Okay.
Yeah. So this is something that's really, really cool, too. So anybody that watches the podcast knows that I absolutely love the Picatrix, and I work out the Picatrix, and I'm obsessed with the talismanic alphabets, right?
Avamon, do you like the Picatrix?
I love the Picatrix. It's my favorite tome.
Yeah,
I know it like the back of my.
I know you do. Yeah.
I know the Picatrix, the astral Picatrix, the Picatrix that's existing up there and isn't here on Earth yet.
Yeah. You're creating it.
You see the talismanic alphabets that the Caliphate was absolutely obsessed with. You see them in this book. You see them, and the sigils, the alphabet, the characters that we have all over the historical record. We find them in this book.
That's cool.
So how long have we been using those characters? How long? Just here, if all these magicians are using these characters over the centuries,
Yeah.
These things are ancient, right? I see, let me see. Okay, so cool. In PGM 7, 579 through 90, there's a spell for phylactery, which is basically a talisman, right?
All right. Yeah.
And it's an Ouroboros eating its own tail, and you're going to see a bunch of Greek letters around it. But in the middle, I can see the Picatrix sigil for Jupiter. I see Picatrix sigil for, I think, Luna, one of the lunar spirits in here. I mean, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That these sigils are preserved perfectly within the.
That's awesome.
Back in Egypt, right? So they're known as the talismanic alphabets, and there is material out there on what all the symbols mean, and I don't think I will ever reveal. I might never reveal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I
you
have to take
figure it
that
out
to
yourself.
my grave. I think I have to take it to my grave.
Yeah, figure it out for yourself.
Unfortunately, I would love to.
No,
but
that's for people to come into on their own.
But yeah, so I'm really at this point where I get frustrated by, I want to be candid for the sake of helping education, but at the same time, I can't.
No, there's gatekeeping. You know me. You can blame it on me.
It's not just gatekeeping.
Yes, that is.
It's like, it's just like I have to keep some things. You know? Yeah.
No, I think anyone that's legit understands.
Yes.
They do. It's the ones that are chomping at the bit and don't want to do the work to get there that don't understand. And that's the problem. Because again, we're just trying to save you guys from your psychic trauma. of having stuff work and not being prepared for it because that's always the case.
Yeah.
But like I did a spell in
Yes.
preparation for this.
Uh-huh. How'd that go?
It went, it worked. Surprise, surprise. I actually was surprised because I didn't do it exactly because you know me, I don't ever do things exactly because I like to do my own stuff. But I did for this. I'm not going to sleep on the floor. That's all I got to say. I'm not sleeping on the floor because I am old and that hurts. Okay. I'm not doing
You're
that.
not old, babe.
Okay. Yeah, I am. Okay.
We just need to get like the blood of a few virgins for you to bathe in.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Channel my Bathory vibes.
Yeah. No, you're a witch. Of course, this is.
No,
what
it's
needs
okay.
to happen.
I know. I've been letting it just take its course, and now it's going to change. But so I didn't want to lay on the ground on a mat, okay, to sleep every night. Yeah. That sounds terrible to me. So I improvised, right? Like I improvised, like you can do. Are we catching on fire?
No, we're good. Okay. Sorry, I thought we were.
So I did the Thoth dream spell. Okay, like, god dang it, I just had it right here. Where did it go? I just had it. And it worked because I told you I was having dreams about it, right? Remember?
Yes.
This is the Hermes Thoth Dream Revelation Rite from the PGM 7.
Yeah, I think you're connected to him.
664 through
He shows up for you a lot. He does not show up for people. What?
I just heard something weird. Probably a car. Probably the person in the car.
Yeah.
So this one, we had a lot of the ingredients I needed, which I was surprised with. So I had myrrh ink, and an olive branch, and I wasn't going to sleep on the rush mat on the ground, but all I needed besides that was to recite the formula 7 times, right before my little nightlight, because I didn't want to put an oil lamp in there. That's my bedroom, no. So I just did it as I stared at my light, and it worked. 3 nights in a row. It worked.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean, it was very stressful dreams. Not gonna lie. I was like, every dream I was out in the forest trying to escape or find something that was after me. Like I was looking for the thing that was after me. And then every time you and I were in the dream both times, every time together, all 3 times. And like we'd separate and I'd go off on no path. There's no path. It's just, I'm just walking through the woods. And then all of a sudden behind a tree trunk, it would just step out and be like this ginormous thing in front of me, Birdman face thing. Huge, like 9 feet tall, kind of big, you know.
Yeah. And
talking to me through thoughts, like not words, and then telling me stuff that I needed to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm working on it now. Right? Remember I told you?
Yes.
You
did.
Deck
I do remember.
that I'm working on. The way to.
Oh,
so
yeah, that's gonna be really cool. I'm excited
for
that.
I got like a message on what to do about, and I just realized something else. The last time I had a dream with him in it, it was about my tarot card class.
Oh,
my workshop that I was doing.
Oh, he's having you. He's having you make a book of Thoth.
What?
A book of Thoth.
What do you mean?
That's the tarot is the book of Thoth. That's the legend.
It is?
Yeah. The legend is that the book of Thoth is the tarot. All the symbols and keys for magic are within it. That's the book of Thoth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the occult.
But that's like
mythology.
A book that's made by...
What?
Is that the Emerald Tablet thing?
No.
What is it? Which one is it? What are you talking about? Oh, I think I'm confusing something else.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Aleister Crowley or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Aleister Crowley wrote the key to his tarot is called the Book of Thoth.
That's why. Okay, that's why. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah.
Oh, I see.
That's the mythology.
Oh, I get it now.
You get it. Yeah. The
okay,
mythology is that the tarot is the Book of Thoth. Like
okay. I got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm slow today because shit's over here stressed me out. But yeah, so that first time I had a dream about him, it was about right before I was doing my workshop for my tarot workshop for my master's degree, right? And then now for the other thing about tarot, which I didn't ask about. I wasn't doing anything like that. It was told what I needed to do.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I didn't put those things together till right now.
Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, 3 nights in a row I saw him in my dream. And like it's weird because I don't know, I didn't know what he looked like, you know? Remember I told you, I said I saw this thing in my dream and it looked like a weird, like curved, skinny beak. Like, I don't know what that is. Yeah. Whatever. That was the first time, you know?
Yeah, the first time.
But now, now that I've seen him once, I know what it is. And yeah, pretty interesting. I'm about it. So it works, is the point.
It does work. There's a lot of spells in here that are super practical. Yeah. And then there's a lot of spells in here that can be a big rite, you know?
Yeah.
Like a once in a lifetime rite if you want to make it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so we should take a break. And we'll come back after our break with more discussion on the PGM.
All right, we got to go into a little bit of an ad read for livegrimoire.com. Yes, it is our occult app.
Yes.
livegrimoire.com, where you can, we got a bunch of functions on it, which is pretty great. So basically, you know, if you are an occultist, you're doing magic all the time, you lose track of basically everything, right? So,
well, I mean, I have about 20 notebooks scattered around the house.
Yeah.
That have bits and pieces of knowings or insights or messages or whatever, and it's all out of order, and I can never figure out where I keep my stuff.
Yeah. So what really annoys me is like if there's a synchronicity or something like that, and I have to sometimes I have to write something down on like sticky note or something like that, you know?
Yep.
And so it's like there's bits and pieces that are scattered everywhere. You try to keep it all in the grimoire, but it sometimes is impossible, you know? It's like sometimes it's in your dream journal at your nightstand. Yeah.
It's in Google Docs, unnamed.
Google Docs.
Unknown name. Like, that hundreds of those documents that are not named.
Exactly.
You know, it's a mess. It's a hot mess.
Sometimes it's you unlocked an insight in meditation, or sometimes, you know, in ritual and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So it was really frustrating me. And then at the same time, I do a lot of studying, right?
Yes,
and
you do.
So a lot of times, you know, my seed of gnosis unlocks because I'm reading something. I'm like, oh, that's what that spirit told me to look for, and that kind of stuff. So I also needed a citation manager.
Okay, citations are important because when you're talking about this stuff, especially now that it's becoming more acceptable within like the scientific community and stuff to be actually talking about this.
Yes.
They still require, evidence, right? It still requires backing up what you're saying. So, and that doesn't have to be, actual like common day experiments. It can be citations of ancient works.
Right? It could be citations of grimoires you're reading. It could be citations of scientific research, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like you can cite people that are researching mediumship, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
At least if you're trying to put together like a Substack article, or you're trying to maybe write that book finally.
Yeah.
Like you want to keep track of all this kind of stuff. I think one of my favorite citations I've ever seen though is some smart ass in his book. His citation was, "It came to me in a dream," and I was like, yeah, that's how that's
how it goes sometimes.
It checks out. I was like, you know what, I like it.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. But anyway, so livegrimoire.com, it compiles all that stuff, and it's got a lot of really cool features too, because we built in a tarot feature and an astrology feature, so you can actually save when you're collecting all your experiments, all your data, all your rituals, everything. It's all nice and organized, and then you can save like tarot spreads to it, like what cards did you pull in that tarot,
that's a big one
in that ritual,
right?
You could save astrological charts, like, okay, I'm journaling about a ritual I performed last night, let me set the time, and then it has an astrological chart to show you. It's like, oh, this is where the planets were when you experienced that. You could also go ahead and track the election tracker on it. Is amazing for anybody that practices astrological magic. I don't know any astrology website that has an election tracker, but it's super cool. You just go in and you can put in, I need the moon in trine with Jupiter. I need
that's
Saturn in Capricorn. Like, there's all these rules that you feed it. And when you hit the button and it finds you the next election that's going to happen, which is, and then you can just save it right there into your calendar on livegrimoire.com so you don't forget to do the ritual.
Right. And then there's Ritual Builder where you can that's the one I use the most is where I type in all of my unnamed Google Docs where I've written invocations, incantations, whatever it is, and put them there. And then all the ingredients, there's recipes that you can add. A recipe builder also. And then you can share it public or you can share it amongst the other people using the site, right?
Yeah, there's a very tiny kind of microblogging feature. So that way, if there is something you want to make public, you always have the option to do it. So that way, if you want to send a friend maybe an oil recipe, you have a public link for it, or you want to publish a ritual you wrote or a prayer you wrote, and you want to link somebody to it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really the nerdiest thing ever, but it's
really useful. I find myself
creams
using
my
it.
Twinkie. Okay, I like the nerd aspect of this. It's the most academic, scholarly, magical thing that could be created in regards to ritual magic work, at all. I'm so impressed with the work you have done on this.
Yeah,
and I think that if you're actually practicing magic let's be honest. Of course, handwriting is important. And I always believe that it will be important.
It is in ritual and all that kind
of stuff.
It
is. It's very important. I wrote my sermon out the other day by hand, and my hand cramped. So it's bad. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to practice more now. But that being said, we are in a digital age. And the best way to keep everything, especially on the go too, right? So if you're out, you can access it from anywhere.
Yes, exactly.
You don't have to carry all your books with you. It's online for you. It's this is great. So if you're actually somebody that's keeping track, you want to prove to yourself you're not crazy, you write down things as they happen and be able to pull them back up and see that for yourself that, no, this is exactly what I asked for. Or, that did happen. That's a big one for me too.
I specifically have a problem with keeping track of spirits. My interactions with them and the things that they like and the sigils and that kind of stuff. So there is a section.
And will they tell us?
Yeah, exactly. There is a section where you could organize all your spirits and put their names, their servitors, all that
it's
kind
crazy.
of stuff. So
and
if you're doing,
how much is it?
Yeah, well, it's free. But the premium features, which would be the electional astrology tracker, and then there's a cool transcription. One of the most annoying things is when I'm reading and I see a quote that I want to save, and I gotta type it into my phone. It's nah,
you take a picture,
horrible.
Right?
Yeah. So with the transcription daemon, which is a premium feature for $5 a month, you take a picture and it transcribes it for you and saves it in your citation manager, so you can then cite your source when you're writing on live Grimoire later.
So honestly,
so I can be on the couch reading this and I want to.
I've seen him do this a lot. I'm oh, he's adding it in there. I'm telling you, this is awesome. I, as somebody that researches things for funsies and for work, clearly, I wouldn't be using it for my work though, because it's not magical stuff, but it would be great even for that. You know, it's really a very versatile and thorough, highly thorough app, and you guys should try it, because if not, are you even doing magic?
Okay. So check out our app, livegrimoire.com.
Check it out. And if you do get the premium, then all that's doing is covering our cost of developing the app, because there's always has to be money. It does cost money, and also you're having to rework things.
And it drives you nuts.
It does drive me nuts.
I'm always spending money on it, but it's okay.
But it's okay because it's for everybody.
Yeah, it's for everybody.
Yeah.
Funded and produced by the Adepts College of Magicians.
That's correct. Yes. So it's free if you want the free version, or you can have the more, bougie version. But either way, we hope you guys would check it out and try it and see and then, give us feedback. Let us know what you think about it.
All right. Okay. So let's get back to the PGM. So I think at the very beginning of the PGM, Hans, he references this story or whatever. So basically, like, the collection of the manuscripts, they mostly come, the largest portion of them come from a collection from a guy named Anastasi, and it's known as the Anastasi collection.
Okay.
And he was basically a diplomat. Pretty sure he was a diplomat.
Well,
he was an Armenian. That was born around 1780, lived till 1857, and he was in the court in Alexandria, and he collected most of the manuscripts. Well, his collection is thought to have come from man in Thebes, and the first person that got together a lot of these manuscripts, as Christianization was pushing magic underground, and they were burning a bunch of these manuscripts. So the Anastasi collection Hans believes comes from a collection in Thebes, which is much closer to Roman Egypt, or actually in Roman Egypt or whatever. But as he's explaining this, he mentions this Egyptian mythological story, and it's a very familiar story if you're familiar with Egyptian mythology. But it's basically the crazed magician that's trying to find the Book of Thoth, right? And he kind of compares the collection of the Anastasi Papyri to this legend of Prince Kamwas, who's the fourth son of King Ramses II, right? And so mythologically, he's known as the world's first Egyptologist, and he was in, I think, 1300 BC or something like this. So he was obsessed with preserving Egypt's history. However, in the myth of this Prince Kamwas, which comes much later, comes in Roman Egypt, they call him Setni, right? And in this story, Setni is, this legendary Prince Kamwas, and he's looking for the Book of Thoth, which is all these books of magic spells. He makes it into this tomb, and there he meets the ghosts of a pharaoh and his wife and his son, and they warn him against using the book.
Wait.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you met 3 ghosts?
Yeah.
And it was of what again?
What?
It was who? Who were the ghosts?
It was pharaoh, the pharaoh's wife and son, right?
I feel like for some reason that is like a modern day twist on that. It'd be like the Ghost of Christmas Past, like all of that, like the 3 ghosts that people meet all the time. That's a whole thing.
Yeah,
it's a whole theme. Like, I wonder if that's where they get it from. I don't know why I just saw that. Maybe. Like real quick. Anyways.
Yeah.
So what had happened in that tomb?
Yeah. So it's kind of like that. So the ghosts warn him about the Book of Thoth, and not to take it, and that he will get cursed and bad things will befall him if he takes it, because he can't be trusted with it. And this guy decides to take it anyways. And he returns to the surface, and a bunch of terrible things, like with the Book of Thoth, a bunch of terrible things start happening. And then he runs into what he says is the most beautiful woman in the entire world. And he just he wants her so bad. Yeah. And she's this, kind of, I think she's a princess or something. But he goes over to her mansion or palace with all her servants, and he's like, I will do anything to get him there. To hit that. To hit that. I will do anything. Yeah. Okay. And she's like,
the age, like that again. Yeah. The age-old tale of
And so she has him kill his children for her, and he does it.
That sounds like another story. Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, yeah.
And he does it, and he's like, okay, now can I hit that? And she basically humiliates him, tells him he's got to take his clothes off, and he gets publicly humiliated and everything. And so now he's killed his children, been publicly humiliated, lost all his stuff, and then he kind of wakes up, and it's an illusion that was cast by this ghost. So he has to collect the book of Thoth, like that he stole, take it back to the tomb, and he has to reunite the pharaoh's family's corpses with the tomb that he found the pharaoh in order to break the spell or whatever. But it's really interesting because this myth pops up a lot in Egyptian mythology. For any of the members on the YouTube channel, I did a video about one of these myths, or this was a historical figure, but it was a Thessalos, and he made the same sojourn to Thebes, seeking the corrections from Thoth for the Book of Nechepso, which was a book about astrology and how to harvest herbs and plants for medicine using astrology. Okay. And he goes down to Thebes, and he's looking for the correction to this book. He runs into a priest, goes into a tomb, has a spiritual experience. The god appears before him. Thoth Hermes corrects the book for him, and then he reemerges. And this seems to be a really, really common theme in this time period, about hunting down these magical texts in these tombs and going on this like Egyptological quest to find the missing pieces of Thoth, right? And so Hans is basically comparing these collectors to like playing this out on the historical record, kind of unwittingly doing the same thing, right?
Yeah. I'm just interesting. I think that's a lot. There's a lot of interesting stuff right there. I'm getting like weirded out.
Yeah.
The Ramses thing.
Yeah.
Is interesting.
Yeah.
To me. I got like chills right now. That's so weird because it's within that, allegedly the Book of Thoth is the ability to, like, a spell that will give you the ability to speak to all animals, all people, no matter what their language, right?
Yes.
Like all living things you can commune with.
Yeah.
And then the other one, what was the other one? Was that was that one, and then the other one was being able to see all the gods themselves and to be able to see the divine order of the cosmos, which I think is saying this freaking code in the code that holds everything together. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's crazy right now. I'm having a moment. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Weird. But yeah, so this is the clairaudience of creation and the clairvoyance of divinity. Okay. So it lets you see who is behind the curtain. Yeah. And the curtain. Lets you see the curtain and what's behind it. Interesting. So, all right. So now what? Oh, and it's in a box in the bottom of the Nile, right? Like in a nested box of like iron.
Yeah, there's like it's like a Russian doll game that
and
he's playing.
Sycamore and then ebony and ivory and silver, then gold, and then inside the gold box.
Yeah, that's in the Setnate story or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, then I did want to bring up though one of the one of the coolest spells in the PGM.
Okay.
Is gonna be the 8th book of Moses.
Okay.
And it's really interesting because as an Abrahamist, it's like somebody who's definitely not an Abrahamist. It looks like an Egyptian or a Greek trying to come up with an Abrahamic spell or something.
Yeah.
But it's an initiation into God, right? Which is, the Tetragrammaton or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's got all the crazy like pops and hisses, and it's got a few of his divine names. It works with the falcon a lot, but it is an initiation through the spheres that is supposed to be done within a few days. I think it's within a week. but you're greeting like Helios and Kronos and basically all of the 7 planets, right? You're also going to see, I think one of the coolest things when you go into this, you're going to see the 7 kinds of incense that are attributed to each of these spheres. So, Storax for Kronos, Costus for Ares, frankincense for Helios, that kind of stuff. But I think going through this 8th book of Moses, this one requires a pure 41 days. And you have to start it in Aries.
Okay.
But it's an initiation into God, basically, using the planetary spheres, a bunch of these weird Nomina Barbara. And then I think one of the things that really needs to be pointed out, though, is that when they're using these vowel permutations, a lot of times they're using the vowel permutations as permutations of the Jewish god names, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to see like the IAO is what Abrahamists would call YHVH, right? It'd be pronounced the same way. You see like Adonai popping up in here, Sabaoth, all these like classic Jewish god names. But then right here we see Abraxas in the same one. So that's Gnostic. That's the Gnostic god, the chicken-headed snake god or whatever. So it's incredibly interesting. I would definitely suggest people to go and check it out. But but once you initiate it, it's called the initiation is called the monad. Right. So it's an initiation into the monad, right? And it says, "As I made you swear, child, in the temple of Jerusalem, when you have been filled with the divine wisdom, dispose of the book." And then this is where you can talk to all the animals and you get all the powers of God, basically, once you complete
that's awesome.
This one. Yeah. So I think one of the interesting things, though, okay, like this jumped out at me. It said, in this, the demiurge is laughing, and you're supposed to be like laughing with him through the spheres as you approach each sphere. Yeah. So the 7th time the demiurge laughs, or God laughed, Suke, soul, comes into being. And this is aligned with the sphere of Luna, right? Okay. With Selene. So right here we see soul comes into being with Luna. We see that association that we're constantly talking about, how like Luna is soul, Luna is soul. It's right here in this 8th book of Moses, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I just thought that was really interesting. You're finding these things in these grimoires or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it's so amazing to me that like all of it just kind of, it's like you think that you stumble upon a new vein of magic, and then it just takes you right back to the beginning.
Yes.
Always. It's like the Ouroboros, And then also there's like the snakes too here, where it's like, in that story where he, gets the book because he's managed to tame the snakes. It's like, and then the snake gives up the book, and then he suffers for it, like Garden of Eden vibe all over again. Yes. The serpent and the fallout, right? And the killing kids, like your own children. That's like the Cain and Abel, right? Like, right? Didn't they kill, like, who was that? Like, I don't know Bible stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I don't pretend I do. All right, but like, that story where who is it that he tells him to kill his kids?
Isaac.
Okay, yeah. So
Abraham and Isaac.
Yeah, there you go. So those guys. So whatever. So not Cain and Abel. Those are murdered, right?
That was his first. That was his first. That was like the first thing that Hashem told him to do, and then he was just like, "Nah." If that's like crazy to me, because that sounds like some shit that the spirits would tell me to do, right?
Yeah,
that sounds like some John D shit.
Stuff. Yeah, the ones that are like, well, let's see how much we can corrupt you.
Let's see how much. Like, what are you talking about? It's the will of God.
Yeah. Like, kill your kids.
Kill your kids.
and your whole family. I was like,
what? You don't trust me?
Yeah. I created them. I can create you new ones.
That's the kind of that's when I pull out the knife, when that.
It's like, I don't think so. Yeah, get out of here, trickster.
I banish you to the black cube.
Yes, I rebuke you. Yes, 100%. So
yeah, I wouldn't have passed that trial. No, I would have thought I was talking to.
It wasn't God. There's no way that's God. Come on, like what a horrible person. What a horrible thing that thing God is. That one telling you to kill your kids and shit. Like to prove that you're already a pious person and now you got to do this extra thing.
Didn't let him
just because the devil called you out.
It was like a psych.
Yeah, no, the devil's like, I bet. Well, look, he didn't stray, and then God's like, oh, but I can make him do it. Let me just kill his family.
I just like imagine like
fucked up,
like God as a middle school boy. He's
like,
he's gonna do it.
Yeah,
dude, psych.
Yeah. The clown, man.
I can't believe you're gonna do that, dude.
Yeah, like whoa, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sounds really narcissistic to me, I gotta say. But yeah, no, this is fantastic.
It's a myth, Anna. Come on. You can't psychoanalyze a myth.
Okay, tell the millions of people that believe that shit.
Okay.
And say that they would do the same if Jesus told them to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Crazy. Y'all crazy. So as we talk about spirits and bird-faced men,
birdmen,
and falcons, and yelling at the sun,
telling you to make stuff in your dream, and you're just like, okay, like let me do
Hell
that.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, like I changed my workshop according to that dream, and it was a resounding success. Okay,
remember when we first met? And I told you that I don't make any decisions by myself.
I was so worried about that.
And you're like, what? And I was like, yeah, just whatever they say.
He said that to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, but
now you understand.
But what? But wait a minute. So like, then how do you? Yeah. And I was sitting there. I was thinking, but so do I have to wait for like the spirit to tell him he should date me?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
I can do some magic about that.
I can't remember if I brought that to. That is 100% something I would bring to spirits. I can't remember.
Yes,
if I did
you would, and I think you did.
Did I?
I'm pretty sure. Well, how are we here? How are we here and married now?
That's
like, come
100% like the type of stuff that I.
Did you do it for getting married?
Divine over.
You didn't, did you?
No.
None of it. No.
Yeah, you'd already cast your witch spell on me.
What?
Yeah,
what are you talking about? What?
Who
told him? No. I did not put any magic on you. First time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I absolutely
did.
Well,
because you were my oracle then, I stopped asking
since
spirits.
Day
and
one.
Just, like, started, like...
No, but, like, I remember you said that to me, and I was like, then how are we going to... So, like, our future is going to be dependent on
There's people that
spirit.
understand what I mean.
No, I understand now. Not really, but I'll pretend I do. Because I see you doing it in other aspects of your life, but I do not know whether or not you did that for this aspect of your life.
I don't know.
Clearly, I don't know if they were tricking you or not. But, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I think this is a good... I mean, are you going to say this is a beginner... But
I think beginners can definitely find spells they would want to use in this book. Okay, like
really?
this.
Okay.
There's a lot of spells in here that are really simple. There's like one incantation. They're like get an egg and a bowl of water. Say this, and then draw a picture of the person, and they'll come to you and want you, and that kind of stuff. Like there's so much inspiration in this book. Beginners can definitely use it, right? There's no barrier of entry for this. A lot of this stuff doesn't require an initiation. It doesn't require a dramatic circle. It doesn't require all the stuff that we associate with the gatekeeping of magic. And it tells you step by step how to do stuff. Now, there's some ridiculous instructions in here, like waving a falcon head at the sun
while shouting on your rooftop.
While shouting on your rooftop. It's like, well...
that's going to get you nowadays arrested.
Yeah, but I mean, I like a challenge. So it's like, that's the kind of spell that I'm like,
that's the first thing. Like, that's the one that he said he wanted to do.
I know.
When we first met. And I was like, cool.
I know.
I didn't think he was serious, but I do know now that he would absolutely be serious.
I don't know.
Okay, we
man.
can substitute it for like a pigeon.
Find something. We were at one Botanica.
We were. They had doves for sale.
All the animals were caged.
I love the sound of doves. I love how they
like,
sound. They're so pretty.
I was like, man, these people are hardcore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because those are voodoo people, man. They ain't fucking
It's a
around.
voodoo shop.
I love that place.
I was actually scared of those people. I'm not like.
No,
I never run in.
They're the ones that cursed me. Those are the people that did that thing that I got that actual. Yeah, that I don't fuck around. I'm like, kiss your ass. Hello, thank you very much.
They had some cool stuff in there though. They like awesome. The big old. That big.
Like that store is called like.
What?
The name.
Don't name it.
Why?
The one that we
went to. It was really cool.
Because I just said they sell animals.
But
yeah. Probably not a.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
Okay,
I don't want to get them in trouble.
Let me tell you about.
Then they'll curse you. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I've had my encounters. But this whole thing about the legend about, okay, so I want to talk about a part of this too. It was like in that story you're talking about, when he got the book, he didn't just get it, he ate it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So and that like is an old tradition of consuming a thing to embody the thing.
Yes.
Right? So in this story, this cautionary tale of the like It's a Wonderful Life vibe of seeing the ghosts that come and take you and show you all the things that will befall you if you do this thing incorrectly or whatever. Uh-huh. So like the message behind it is not to seek magical wisdom, but it's to not steal what must be earned, right? Yeah. Not to mistake being like knowledgeable by what you've read for being initiated, not to mistake technical instruction for actual wisdom and power, right? Like, and to not violate the dead, right? Yeah. It's taking it out of a grave, right? And also to not assume the gods are passive because they can and they can't be sometimes, right? And so it's like, it's also a cautionary tale, I believe, that getting this kind of knowledge is exciting, but actually possessing the knowledge can be quite devastating because once you know it, you can't go backwards from knowing it, and that can cause problems, right? So, and if you've jumped the gun, if you have decided to kind of stolen valor kind of vibe, like where you take it before you're ready, then that's your ego, and that's not rewarded in this kind of practice, right? Mm-hmm. You've got to be pure that way. Like that's why there's the purity stuff, right? So get yourself out of that.
Yeah, I think I really like the purifications in the PGM because it teaches you, because if you're coming from a ceremonial background, I don't know, there's intense purifications where it's like, don't have sex for 41 days. I guess that's not too intense. It could be a lot worse.
I mean, but a lot of people out there are going far past that.
I know. I'm just saying. So I think you can get a lot of inspiration for purification. Sure. Because I think purification hangs a lot of people up, especially if you're coming from ascetic practices or ceremonial practices and that kind of stuff. I really like the insight that it gives into, Egyptian purification. Yeah. Basically.
I mean, and also like, because it's like I don't know, it's like there's in that story, well, how do you say his name?
Setni.
Setni wants the book as an object. Like he wanted it as an object, and a true student, a true initiate would have rather become worthy of the knowledge rather than just wanting it as an object to possess. Although it would be rough, it would be hard, right? Because it contains all those things, you'd want it, But
yeah, so
it's discernment again.
It's a receptive thing, right? So really, like when you're talking about, true magic, like what is the Book of Thoth, right? What is this legendary Book of Thoth?
I know, I'm just looking that up right now.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
there is a book the demotic text of Thoth. Do you know which one that is?
I got it up here.
Do you have that one?
Yeah.
Oh, I have not seen it. I need
do.
to see it. Okay.
It's in. Maybe we should do one. That is an intense book.
What is it in?
It's specifically for Thoth priests.
Is it in the Book of the Dead?
No, it's not in the Book
No?
of the Dead. It's it was just it's very very recent. It was just recently translated, but it's like it's in scraps. It's super intense. It's pure Egyptian, so it's not like Hellenized. It's really difficult to understand, and it's in a lot of scraps, but it's a new translation. I actually think I recommended it to one of your clients before because they were having a little Thoth thing or whatever.
Okay.
But that'd be cool to go over that book on an episode, because it's specifically training for Thoth priests and initiation for Thoth priests, and that is hardcore. That is super hardcore.
There's a few. So there's the Ancient Egyptian Book of Thoth, Demonic Discourse on Knowledge, and Pendant to the Classical Hermetica by Richard Jansnow and Carl Theodor Zausisch. I don't know. That was in 2005. And then there's the Conversations in the House of Life.
Yeah, that's the one that's
a new translation on the ancient Egyptian
initiation
for
Thoth priests.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, and
you basically have to. It's hardcore asceticism. You can't have a family. You have to completely shave yourself, like no body hair.
Oh, that one. But
and then it's the conversations that you're supposed to have with Thoth or whatever, because a lot of the Egyptian ritual instructions are it's like Sefer Raziel, or what we were saying about the PGM, where it's like, you're supposed to have this vision and you're supposed to say this thing and that kind of thing, and the God's going to respond in this way and that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, I believe it because we were talking about the other day, how when I had that first dream about Thoth, but I had never had any encounter of it, and then when I was looking it up, I found everyone else's accounts of it were very similar to mine. Sure, like, why not it be that way? Why not that you have this vision and it happens? If it's
Thoth, that's what Thoth's
you.
got. Yeah, Thoth specifically governs visions and dreams. That's really big thing.
Okay.
He governs that. That is his domain.
And he's big. As other people say him as big.
Yeah.
Big thing. Like a giant, like sumo wrestler size, like a Samoan guy.
Like
giant.
a Samoan guy.
Yeah, big.
Yeah.
With a little head.
Mm-hmm.
A little like scary, sharp ass beak face. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's like kind of gave me owl vibes though too. Like a face of an owl-ish. Mm-hmm. I don't know, hard to say, but I just know that I got information and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
So why am I going to question that the second time? It worked the first time.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Now, if he could give me some powers on handwriting, that'd be great, because my handwriting sucks. I need to write it by hand.
That's a good one.
What? Handwriting?
Yeah, he does.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll ask for that next. Yeah. So we should do that next than that book.
That book is really
hard.
It's a difficult book.
Or the Ars Notoria. Right?
Ars Notoria. Yeah, we've been meaning to do the Ars Notoria.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also we would love to get your suggestions on different grimoires that you would want covered that we haven't already done. Yeah. Right? Because we know most of them, but like there's always more, right? That people know about. I don't know. Maybe it'll surprise us. Because every time I think I found something new, I tell Abamon and he's like, oh, I already have it. Every time. It's like crazy. It's pretty impressive. But yeah, I think this is a great example of how appropriation doesn't exist within magic. Yeah. It is just a collaborative effort. And I guess if you want to think about it in a certain way, it's like, it's all of the kind of discarded practices of the times.
It's everything.
And it's the antithesis of.
It's everything all the cultures threw away, and it all collects into the beautiful trash pile that is magic.
Yeah, one man's junk.
Yeah,
another man's treasure.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Hell yeah.
That's the silly thing about that argument, because it's like
there's so much wrong with that argument.
It's like you throw out your let's say you throw out your PlayStation, and then like somebody's like walks up like to your trash can. It's like, I'm gonna take this, and then you like run outside like, no, that's mine, give it back.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, well, you don't want it. Like,
yeah. There's people like that, right? Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a thing. Okay, that's like it's just like with trash boyfriends. It's like, as soon as you have some trash guy that's like, or girl that's out there, and then like nobody wants them, and as soon as they get a partner, all of a sudden everybody wants them. Same shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the trick in high school for sure. It was like, it's like none of the girls liked you, but
you got to get one,
and then like once you got the one girlfriend, then you can start playing the field.
You're good. I was always that girl that did that for people. Yeah. Like, unfortunately, that's why I got fucked over constantly. Yeah. So definitely, it's what it is. It's like you threw out your trash, and now you're mad that someone else took it and is doing well with it. But also, for those people that say that stuff about appropriation, is like, are you privy to every life I've lived in my past lives and my iteration, what I was in those iterations? Like, maybe I was that thing. Maybe I was that culture. Like, we don't know. Like, so to say what you're saying, and unless I hear from the people whose culture it actually is and they're mad about it, then I will listen to it. Otherwise, if you're a white girl or guy talking smack, I don't give a shit. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Because
I just don't
it's care. Not your culture. Don't talk about it. You know what I mean? Like,
I really just don't care. Like,
I don't either. But I mean, it's a big thing.
Yeah, it's like, you tell me not to do something.
I'm gonna do it.
It's the fastest way to get me to do it.
Absolutely, 100. Yeah. We are like this. Like,
the greatest changes in my life was because somebody told me I couldn't do something.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? That's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, like, you want to get me motivated to do a thing I don't want to do? You say that to me.
Excuse me, I am the Grey Wizard Avamon, like,
I will do whatever you tell me not to do.
Exactly.
And I'll do it well.
It's like, I do not obey the laws of man. I answer to a higher law.
Yeah.
Yeah. The law of God,
all
right? Who are you, a mere mortal? To question the ways of a magus, right?
I know. Because we got, well, there's a lot of folios out there, man. There are.
Yeah, I know.
There's idiots that are burning their houses down and like doing dumb shit. Recently, there's these morons that are like, oh, I got a church and I'm doing those stuff.
Wait,
sad.
So like the second this is, the door is closed on this.
Oh my God.
We have to do a black magic episode.
Oh, we will.
We have to do it.
We will.
Because we got some stories.
We got stories that are insane. I'm good.
We got good
I'm fucking
stories.
good. Like, I am good. We
have to keep our mouths shut for the time being. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, just FYI, for anyone that wants to know this information, I was reviewing some of the LSAT questions for the bar exam that had just been updated. And one of them was interesting. It was about witchcraft. And so the question is, you have a client, you're a lawyer, and you have a client that comes to you and says, I did black magic on somebody, and they're saying that they're going to sue me. I'm scared I'm going to get in trouble. If I do this black magic spell and it works, can I go to jail for it? Is it a crime? And you tell that person that, well, it depends, okay? And so they go and they do the magic and it works, and now they're terrified that they're going to be prosecuted. So what went wrong here? And the options were like, you gave false information when the client asked, because no, there's no crime committed, because witchcraft is not something that's you can be prosecuted for. B is, it mattered, the intention of the practitioner mattered. Were they wanting to cause harm, or were, like that would be like that depends on whether it's illegal or not, etc. The answer was the first one, because it's not, you can't, that's not a thing. You can't. So, and I have been accused of witchcraft in court twice, in a court of law twice. It did scare me. I'm not gonna lie. Both times I was like, because I realized the gravity of that situation, that other women in my.
I got accused last year. Remember?
In court?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. We were in the
Somebody
same
made
club
a
together. Yes.
Witness statement that I
Sure
was
did.
a
They were.
wizard.
Yes.
And I was like,
and
what?
yeah, it's so funny because it's like they use that against you like it's a insult, and or like it's some like it's. Let me just say this.
Oh, it just makes them
It's
sound
it's
crazy.
hilarious because it's hilarious because it's like these are the same people that'll tell you that your hobby is stupid and not real, and then turn around in court and accuse you of doing it to try to get the judge to get you in trouble. It's bananas. It's like, wait a minute. Yeah. I thought it was stupid and like I didn't believe in it.
I always wonder if they like ever ask themselves like,
how does it sound?
Well, or like, if they connect the dots, like why they lose the court case, right?
Or
do they ever connect those dots?
I don't know. When things fall apart around them, like
I always exactly. I'm always like curious about that.
When all of the things that they had are now no longer theirs, and like it's crazy to me to think that they just don't get it. Like it's not. But regardless, prove it. You know? You can't ever do that. So because court doesn't allow it. So just in case you were wondering, I'm not telling anyone to go out and hex people or do like certain kind of spells that
it's horrible.
Don't do that.
Doesn't feel good.
Doesn't. Oh, what do you? It depends.
I don't like the way
it depends. It depends. I love it. Like I personally, if it's warranted, it's about it. I'm about it. But if it's not warranted, I don't do it. Period. So and I let that up. But I'm just saying, if you've ever been concerned about it, it's not how. Now, the one thing you can be in trouble for regarding witchcraft in the court of law is the following. You want to guess what it is? What can you be prosecuted for regarding witchcraft in today's courts?
Sacrificing animals.
Nope. No.
Yes, you can.
No, okay. That's a city ordinance thing. I'm talking about criminal court.
Yeah.
Okay. Preying on people, saying that they've been cursed and taking their money.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Yes. So if you are somebody that goes into people's DMs and says, I got a message about you and you're cursed and you need to pay me.
Like every Discord server ever?
Yep.
Yeah.
That is a crime. It's a crime.
Yeah.
So, just FYI. This is being a charlatan. So, that's the only kind of way you get in trouble for witchcraft in a court of law. Just sharing informations. But yeah, so I think if you haven't read this book, you should.
Yeah, I think it's an essential tome for any magician's shelf. There's a ton of inspiration in it. And like I said, the foundations, the roots of a lot of our modern magical practices are in here.
Yep.
A lot of our modern magical rituals
and
are
religions.
in here. And it's like, it's one of those things, it's like, you want to do a spell? PGM, or you want to do something, PGM's got a spell for that, You want to do something? Yeah, it's super practical and it's really interesting. I absolutely love it. So it was a long time coming though. I've got that like, weird hipster punk thing where it's like if something's cool, I don't want to do it, It's cool.
Same. Yeah, like I don't watch any of the shows when they're on TV.
I didn't want to do the PGM because everybody was into it. But then when I was researching this, I realized that there's definitely not as much material online as I thought there was.
Really?
About the PGM. At least not on YouTube or podcasts or anything like that. There was this like really cool YouTube channel that specifically was focusing on it. And it got deleted a few years ago or something like that.
No.
It was an archaeologist that like her main jam was the PGM, and she was amazing.
By the way, another thing, did you hear that they found another Colosseum to Athena?
I don't think
they undug it.
Yeah.
They have unearthed it. I just saw it yesterday, and how it looked when they found it was just like these little, you could tell something was in the mountainside. But now they've dug it out, and it's like it's all still there. Like the railings and everything are still there.
Yeah.
And this huge statue of Athena with Medusa on her breastplate is there.
That's cool.
And then about 60 miles away is a signpost that has the carving of the last show played there.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, it was a play. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know. I want to go so bad.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So, well, get the book. You can get it online for free. You can find it online on Internet Archive or on Scribd or whatever. You can find it at your library if you know how to do that. There's a librarian there that'll help you if you don't. But I highly recommend getting this, or just at least reviewing it. And we'll come back with another Grimoire next time, maybe, or in a couple episodes. I don't know how we'll do it.
Yeah, however do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back in the swing of things, back in the routine. So yeah. I'm feeling good.
Yep.
Got my mental health back in my routine.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so please, for those of you that are just joining us on Sunday for live occult mass, Temple Cat service with licensed esoteric clergy, Abamon the Great and Dr. Anna Stone.
Yes, we're both
it's a great time. We do solar invocation. We do guided meditation, hypnosis session. Do psychic hours where we do free divinations for anybody that's in the chat.
It's free.
And we also do esoteric and occult readings from our sacred scriptures.
Yes.
That kind of stuff.
Yep.
So it's really awesome time. There's a small community built around it.
They're great.
Yeah, they're absolutely amazing. We have a group of initiates right now.
Yeah, that are killing it.
7 of them that are killing it from the temple. I know, right?
There it is.
Yes, it's great.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. And then also, if you become a channel member, we have lecture series that we're putting up for our seminary right now. They are really intense deep dives that interweave like scholarship with actual practical magic. So I know we got a lot of scholarly occult channels on YouTube and a lot of practical occult channels on YouTube. The members only videos are done by our professor, curriculum designer, keeps it up to a high college standard, but it's for practitioners, right? So we're getting into the dirty history, the dirty philosophy, the technical, really hardcore stuff, but how that applies to practice and how to utilize it in your practice. It's absolutely great, but that's members only. Our membership is, I think, like $5 a month or something on the YouTube channel. So
again, it's just to upkeep. The back end of everything that we do. Right?
Yeah, like the lectures are insane. On my lectures, I go for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
As a curriculum developer,
yes,
for
she
the
gets
community
really
college
upset at me.
district, I have a rule I follow where I do not make longer than 15 minutes at a time videos. Maybe 30 minutes max. But I break them into smaller, more digestible chunks of chunking.
Yeah, but people like.
I know lectures. They do but I'm just saying that's why we are. You have your way, I have my way, and they are different but complementary, etc. And you pick your poison.
Yeah, pick your poison.
I'm worse.
No, you're not. You're great. You're a professional.
Oh,
I'm just a guy with a camera.
No, but so check it out. Come say hi. Get a free tarot reading. I mean, if you want to book a session with me, I'm $200 for a reading. Yeah. So. I get or free on Sundays.
Yeah, on Sundays. We're of service on Sundays. We're here for the community. So please come join us. It's a really powerful experience. And if you jump on the train, I mean, the magic works.
It does.
It really does. People that get involved in the Temple Cat community, shit starts happening.
I'm not saying it's great. It's always great. But it's the thing that happens.
It's
the thing that's needed to transform you into what you are designed to become, right? That's destined to become, rather. So a lot of the time that's not fun, but at the end of the day you'll be grateful for it.
Our initiates right now are going through a really clean initiation.
It's crazy.
They're getting the stuff thrown at them, but it's healing. It's not chaotic.
So let's I think we're good. Thanks you guys so much. Sorry it took us so long for being MIA.
Yeah, but we got a lot of material for a Black Magic episode now.
Dude,
so
whoa.
It's going to be our best episode.
We're going to be unhinged. Me.
It's going to be true crime mixed with Black Magic.
Oh, It is. And actual evidence too, to show. No, it's crazy. I do.
Put
but
people on blast like that.
But I will. No, but when we can. Because I don't like to. But anyhow, you guys stay tuned for that. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
This is where I get to shine with my evil ways.
Turns into a T channel immediately. Yeah.
But anyways, all right. See you guys next time. We'll see you next week. Okay.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
You've been listening to Discourse, where we venture into the mysteries of esotericism, the occult, and the depths of spiritual exploration. I am Abamon the Great, joined as always by Dr. Anna Stone, bringing adept insights to help guide your journey. Remember, the path of wisdom is illuminated by both knowledge and experience. Until next time, continue your exploration and stay attuned to the unseen.